so forth. So at the end of it all, we have to come back together as one united party with a common agenda, capture political power from the NDC, and then to implement our ideology. Basically, that's what it is. So, you know, Matthew Macau.
People say if you look at if you look at even the fiscal posture of the candidates, particularly the front runners at the Peace Pact signing ceremony, it can tell you that all is not well, and mending the cracks after Saturday is going to be difficult.
Now, that should tell you the real wisdom behind the choice of 31st January as the date for our Congress, at least 3 years before the elections. I mean, some of these things, assuming that it had happened a year, 24 months or 12 months before the next elections, how do we go through the process of mending the cracks and all of that? So it's good that we are having it early enough so that we give ourselves enough time to be able to build bridges, reach out.
Chairman of the committee is suggesting that if there is money, there is vote buying in the process, the election will be annulled. I think you should annul the election before it starts.
Why? Why should we annul?
Do you think the election can survive money exchanging hands?
So what happens typically is that we normally we support the delegates with some kind of transportation. Now, some delegates leave their homes. For instance, in my constituency, from one end of the constituency to the other is about 106 kilometers. Now, going to Ofori-Atta is 77 kilometers. You can put that in context. Then you understand how far it is. Somebody travels that long distance. I mean, the person has to use his or her own money. We have to find a way to cushion the person, provide lunch or some meals for the person. These are party people. They don't have to go and sacrifice for the party at their own expense. So basically, these are some things just to cushion them.
You know the fact that this is their cocoa season, and each candidate will be giving. In the last election, flag bearer race, we saw it, particularly between Baumia and Ken Ejapong.
Okay.
That the delegates were voting and were taking envelopes from each, candidate. So this is not coordinated. And there are people who step out of their houses, their homes, and the voting booth is right there. And yet they are taking 1,000. We heard some place that they were supposed to give 2,000. Somebody gave 2,000, somebody gave 1,000, and there were these complaints.
And that's a difficulty that we have.
That's clearly not transportation.
That's a difficulty that we have sometimes. Now, they are all delegates, equal rights and equal voting rights. Everybody has a single vote. Somebody comes from a far distance, another person just lives next to the polling station. You can't even begin to prorate and say that I will give you maybe 100 cedis and give this other person because he's coming from a further distance, 500 cedis. No, delegates will not understand. So you have to give a uniform amount across. Otherwise, you suffer,
Okay.